Welcome back to Top 5. The moon hung high in the night sky, its cold light casting an ethereal glow over the abandoned ruins of an ancient castle, where the crumbling stone walls whispered tales of battles long past. It was here that two legendary hunters would meet for a fateful clash, Blade, the vampire slayer, and Geralt of Rivia, the witcher. Both men had been summoned to this cursed battleground by a malevolent sorceress who thrived on chaos. She sought to pit the two against each other, hoping to revel in the destruction that would unfold. As the wind howled through the jagged archways, the air crackled with tension, and the stage was set for an unforgettable duel. Blade stood silently, his leather jacket glistening with the moonlight. His eyes, sharp and predatory, scanned the surroundings, keenly aware of every sound in the night. Twin swords rested at his back, each one waiting to taste the blood of his foe. He had faced countless vampires, but Geralt was different, a warrior forged in the fires of countless battles, a hunter of monsters. On the opposite side, Geralt adjusted his grip on his silver sword, the blade reflecting his steely resolve. He was no stranger to death, and every scar on his body told a story of survival. With piercing yellow eyes, he focused on Blade, sensing the power radiating from him. This was not just another monster. He was up against a formidable opponent, a dark force with a relentless hunger for blood. With a whisper of magic in the air, the sorceress unleashed her spell, igniting the battlefield with a burst of energy. The two warriors charged at each other, weapons drawn and hearts pounding. The clash was immediate and brutal. Blade attacked first, his speed a blur as he lunged forward, slashing with one sword and then the other. Geralt parried the initial blows, his reflexes honed from years of training. The sounds of metal clashing reverberated through the ruins, echoing like thunder against the stone walls. Blood splattered the ground as Blade's sword grazed Geralt's arm, leaving a crimson line that seeped and dripped. Geralt retaliated, thrusting his silver sword with precision, aiming for Blade's heart. The vampire hunter dodged, rolling to the side and swiftly countering with a powerful kick that sent Geralt sprawling to the ground. But Geralt was quick to recover, using the momentum to sweep Blade's legs out from under him. They both fell, grappling with each other in a deadly embrace, blades glinting dangerously close to flesh. With a grunt of effort, Blade broke free, flipping back to his feet. He lunged again, this time aiming for Geralt's neck. The Witcher barely managed to sidestep, feeling the rush of wind as Blade's sword sliced through the air. Geralt countered with a spinning kick, striking Blade in the ribs, sending him crashing against a wall. The impact echoed, but Blade's resolve was unbroken. Both fighters were now bloodied and panting, their breaths heavy with exertion. Blade could feel the fire of his vampiric nature surging within him, heightening his senses and strength. Geralt, too, tapped into his own powers, channeling the energy of the signs he had mastered. He invoked Quen, a protective shield, just as Blade lunged again. The impact was brutal. Blade's sword slammed against the shield, sending shockwaves through the air. But Geralt pushed back, summoning his strength and breaking the shield. With a swift motion, he struck out, his sword cutting deep into Blade's shoulder. The vampire hunter growled in pain but quickly retaliated, his blade slicing across Geralt's abdomen, drawing blood. The two warriors staggered apart, both wounded yet unyielding. Blade's mind raced as he assessed the situation. He had faced death many times, but this fight felt different, more primal, more personal. Geralt, equally aware of the stakes, narrowed his focus, determined to end the conflict before he succumbed to his injuries. With a roar, Blade charged again, swinging his swords in a deadly flurry. Geralt danced around him, evading the blows with expert precision. The two exchanged a furious volley of strikes, the sound of metal colliding punctuating the night. Blood sprayed like a dark mist as Blade's sword carved a deep gash across Geralt's cheek, while Geralt's silver blade found its mark on Blade's arm. The fight escalated, both combatants pushing their limits. Blade called upon his vampiric gifts, feeling the hunger surge within him, while Geralt unleashed his fury, his every strike fueled by the need to protect the innocent from the horrors of the world. They fought like demons, each hit resonating with the weight of their purpose. In a final, desperate move, Blade feigned a strike to Geralt's left, then quickly pivoted and swung his sword toward the Witcher's exposed side. Geralt barely managed to block the blow, but Blade's strength sent him staggering back. Seizing the moment, Blade lunged again, aiming straight for Geralt's heart. But Geralt, fueled by sheer will, parried at the last second, the force of the blow sending him to his knees. With a swift motion, he thrust his silver sword upward, piercing Blade's gut. Blade gasped, feeling the cold steel enter his flesh, and for a brief moment, time stood still. Both warriors locked eyes, the understanding of their shared struggle etched in their faces. With a guttural roar, Blade twisted the blade within him, forcing Geralt to recoil in pain. But in that instant, Blade's strength waned, and he fell to the ground, blood pooling beneath him. Geralt, barely able to stand, staggered backward, his own wounds and fatigue catching up with him. He looked down at Blade, who lay gasping, life slipping away. The Witcher felt a pang of respect for the warrior before him, a creature of the night who had fought valiantly until the end. As the darkness began to close in on both of them, the sorceress watched from the shadows, her laughter echoing in the ruins. But the two warriors remained locked in their final moment, bound by the blood they had shed and the battles they had fought. In this brutal clash of monsters, both had emerged scarred but undefeated in spirit. With a final breath, Blade whispered, "You fought well, Witcher." Geralt nodded, a faint smile breaking through the pain. "You too, vampire." And as the moon shone down on the battleground, illuminating the defeat and victory intertwined in their battle, both warriors knew that legends would tell of their fight, one that blurred the lines between good and evil, where blood and steel forged a bond that transcended death itself.